Now listen to this. If you take care of your mind, you take care of the world, says Ariana Huffington of the famous Huffington Post. While we're at this, I have to tell you this little thing I got. Ariana has a company called Thrive Global, and it launched a phone bed charging station. You heard me right. This is a real small baby bed that sits on a surface, for example, a table, where phones are nicely tucked away in sleep mode, just like you would a baby, so as to sleep and charge, while their owners also sleep and recharge. Isn't that like the coolest thing we all need? I do need one for myself. I'm sure you do as well, right? Anyhow, this was a little swallow that I had to tell you, but welcome back, my lovely listeners, to another of the Hope Ignites Healing podcast with your host, Dr. Lillian Kalisa, a space we're speaking everything holistic health and healing. And we've been talking clean out in this season. We are cleaning out our minds, our bodies, and our spaces. And today we're talking brain dumping. That is about cleaning out our minds, right? What is this brain dumping? I will tell you by starting at story time. And this is my own story. I have a mind that can write a movie out of an ordinary simple happening. I'm not kidding you. Now, times when I was depressed and disappointed, I would go on and on and on about those sins that had caused me the trauma, like we all do, right? Anyway, for me, I was losing my mind. And all this climaxed at a time when I lost my dear dad, that is my hero, a story that I have told you about while in this space. Everything for me at that time reminded me of him and the pain that I had been going through around about that time. Now, I'll tell you, if pain was a movie, as the main character, I kid you not. Anyway, as I was failing to concentrate on things that were previously making sense to me, making meaning in my life, things like prayer time, my well-beings, my family and friends, I went out to seek for hope, and I happened to attend a planning getaway. One of the many things that I did at that time was this event. We were taught among many things, but I can tell you, because, again, thanks to my mind, everything was gray at that time. I can't tell you I remember a lot, but one thing stood out for me. Someone mentioned brain dumping. The facilitators said that we start at this to start on our healing journey, and all they said was right. I couldn't lose anything trying it out because, listen, they promised that it's a starting point and it would work. And they also challenged us to trust them. All right, writing, I got no problem with that. I started to write. When I went back, I needed this especially for the most important things at that time for me. That was my prayer time and my patience. These two activities kept me going through the day. So I really needed to teach my mind to do those things without the major distraction. Otherwise, I was losing it. Now, you cannot believe it. My mind started to clear every new day. I realized that there was a pattern that I was starting to write less. And after a long while, my dumping started to have a pattern and to have less painful dumps, I will tell you. Eventually, I started to learn that what I dumped on, I didn't have to act on everything, but only on those that were important. But at least I had put those things out of my brain. And above all, I started to have ideas that were not about my past, but things that were looking into the future. Listen, it worked. Did you hear me? It worked. Guys, it actually worked. Now brain dumping is a daily pill for me. And I will tell you, it actually has a similar feeling to the one I get when I come out of a swimming pool. I love to swim, you know. And for me, brain dumping seems similar to the feeling of swimming. Now, what is the lesson? I was failing to move from my past into the now and the future, like we all do. But listen, the space in which we now live today ought to be for the person we are becoming tomorrow, and not for the person we were yesterday. I'm sure you will now ask, what are the steps that I can take to do this thing called brain dumping? I'll tell you. Step 1, declutter the physical environment in which you're doing this from. That is if it's not at a random place, maybe you're walking or exercising and you need to dump. Start by cleaning out that space, because I have taught you in this same podcast that cleaning out your physical spaces starts the process of cleaning out your mind. So we are decluttering that space. Step 2, be deliberate and resolve to start. Again, resolving is the power of the mind to teach it to do anything and everything. Here we are again, teaching our minds to resolve on it. So I want you to do some research and ensure that you have understood the concept or have at least got an expert to teach you how to. And we can start. Step 3, write. Like they taught me 2 years ago, just write. Write it somewhere. It will all make sense and you will see a pattern. Trust me. Have a journal, an organizer, or a place that you can write and refer to afterwards. Here I hear something like consistency again. First, you're doing it to tick a box, maybe because your podcaster, Dr. Lillian, said so. Just do it. Then this pattern of ticking a box becomes a routine. And when you create a routine, then it becomes a permanent habit. After a habit, you have a lifestyle. And here is my question for the week for you and I. Have you heard about brain dumping? If yes, do you practice it? If no, do you want to learn the game changer? Let's give it a try this week. I want to task, did you acquire your year's organizer or journal that I tasked you to do at the beginning of the year in this clean out process? Now, if you didn't, I want you to know that you cannot move into holistic health and healing without one. Trust me. Go get your journal and organizer and let's start. Write it all out, brain dumping, before any task. Anything that would occupy valuable space in your mind, just write. I want you to listen to this again. This brain of ours is a muscle. We can teach it to think the way we want it to. Because for the last so many years, we've possibly been teaching it to think negativity, and that's what it has groomed exactly. Wounded minds and bodies, and a well-being that is damaged. So we can teach it to do exactly what we want it to do, especially with creativity. Now, our brains are waiting for us to instruct them on what to do. I will help you. Let's start on the process by affirming ourselves, affirming our minds that they can do it. Join me. Let's start. Oh yes, I can do this. I refuse for my brain to be a dumping site. While it has seemingly done that over the years, I am now deliberate on cleaning it out. Like I would a baby, I do the same for my mind, my brain, to love on it, nurture it, and cultivate it to perform for me God-inspired creative ideas. Today, I teach my brain to dump it all out and to choose newness. I start today and I have the power to do exactly that. My brain is a masterpiece for creativity, innovation, and healing. Well done, you got it started. Now, I'm here to encourage you that you can do it. I did it and you can. And this is us at the Hope Ignites Healing Podcast with your host, Dr. Lillian Kalisa, encouraging you that we can do this as we see ourselves walk into our healing holistically. Now, I'll see you again next week as I teach you the science of brain dumping. Now, you can't miss this, right? But you got to start this week. Let's write it all out and I'll see you again. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.